We begin tonight with a developing story in Horry County as a 20-year-old Sockasty woman is missing. I'm Allison Floyd.
And I'm Tim McGinnis. Tonight, police are investigating her disappearance. WPDE News Channel 15's Kayla DiRenzo joins us live from Peachtree Landing in Sockasty, where the woman's car was found. And Kayla, what's been going on out there all day?
Tim and Allison, according to the Horry County Police Department, Heather Elvis's car was found in this parking lot here at Peachtree Landing on Thursday, but she hasn't been seen in nearly 3 days. And today, crews were out here searching for any signs that may point to exactly where she is.
Originally, this case was just assigned out as a missing person. We did not know or have any reason to believe a crime had been committed in the beginning. The car showed no sign of a struggle. There was no blood, no broken glass, nothing to believe that a crime had been committed.
Detectives are continuing to investigate this situation.
So while crews were searching for any physical trace of Heather at Peachtree Landing, police were combing through her phone records, and almost immediately they noticed an unusual number of calls to an unfamiliar number.
They then found out the number belonged to a payphone, and that the payphone had called her phone that very early hour of 1:35 a.m. And then she immediately is calling the payphone back.
Heather dials that payphone back 9 times. Not 8, but 9 times. The only reason she could possibly be calling that phone 9 times that she's never heard of before is to get the other person that just talked to her back on the line.
They find that the payphone has surveillance video. They pulled the surveillance video. It was very grainy. You see an individual walk to the payphone. He's on the payphone over 5 minutes. Even though they didn't know who it was, they had evidence then that the payphone had been used. They call Sidney Moorer back. They bring him into the police station for a more formal interview.
Horry County Police begin questioning Sidney about his whereabouts on December 18th, and he tells them that he and his wife Tammy were going around doing errands. And at one point, they stopped at a Walmart.
Was that Walmart actually? In Myrtle Beach.
Walmart, Myrtle Beach Walmart.
Yeah.
Was your wife with you
Yes.
that whole time?
Yeah, she was with me the whole time.
They asked him about the payphone call.
Had you used any other phones that night? Your wife's phone?
No.
Did you make any payphone calls?
Nope. I still have payphones.
Who makes a phone call today from a payphone? Sidney Moorer has a cell phone. Tammy Moore has a cell phone. And Tammy Moore used that cell phone to great length to harass and essentially stalk Heather Elvis.
They were calling from a payphone to hide the call.
There was a phone call made to Heather that night from a payphone at the gas station on 10th Avenue.
Okay.
But we have video from that.
Okay.
Did you try calling her? Just a minute?
No.
A second? You sure?
Maybe.
Okay, how about we start again?
I did. I called her from the payphone.
What did you say?
I asked her to please leave me alone.
It sounded like a very innocent explanation, but Heather's roommate Brianna tells police a very different account of that phone call.
At 1:44 in the morning, she called me. I was on winter break from college in Florida. She was hysterically crying, and she said, Sidney called me. My heart dropped because I was like, I thought we were past this. I said, why'd you answer? And she said, because it wasn't his number. She told me that he said he left his wife and that he was sorry and that he wanted to see her and be with her. And I told her, don't do it. Why don't you go to sleep on this, and we'll talk about it first thing in the morning. When Heather and I hung up that night, by the end of the phone call, I was under the assumption that she wasn't going to meet Sidney.
That's when everything starts moving in a very different direction.
After interviewing Heather's roommate Brianna about that conversation that Sidney and Heather had on the payphone, police begin by reconstructing the movements of Tammy and Sidney that night. They begin by pulling security video from that Walmart in Myrtle Beach.
Sidney spent approximately 9 minutes inside that Walmart, then got back in the truck where Tammy was waiting outside. After that, they drove directly to the payphone where you see Sidney make the call to Heather Elvis.
Day 20 in the search for missing 20-year-old Heather Elvis. Dozens of cars and horse trailers line the heavily wooded area.
While teams of volunteers continue to search for any trace of Heather, police are now squarely putting the focus of their investigation on Sidney and Tammy. But rather than lend a hand in the search, Sidney and Tammy unleash an online tirade against the missing 20-year-old.
The Moorer's big push was to basically discourage anybody that was looking for Heather Elvis. They had a lot of negative things to say about the victim. Tammy and Sidney Moorer were vicious at times on social media. I mean, Tammy Moorer put out a Facebook post shortly after she went missing, calling her a whore, saying these terrible things.
We've all heard the term a woman scorned, right? And that's Tammy Moorer was. But when you see these posts and you see the way she's behaving as an adult woman, a mother with 3 kids, the way she's hounding this 20-year-old kid, it's disturbing.
It was a social media war, a campaign of pure terror.
This case was the perfect storm for 2 families that were very outspoken, very motivated, and they weren't going to give up either side.
Using Heather's phone records and her Gmail account, investigators begin to piece together her movements. After that phone call from Sidney at 1:35 a.m., Heather ends up calling his cell phone several times between 3:17 a.m. and 3:21 a.m. Finally, he picks up and the two have a conversation for about 4 minutes. And it's at that point that Heather gets in her car and begins driving.
We trace Heather's phone all the way to Peachtree Boat Landing.
And once she gets to the landing, she's again calling Sidney Moorer. 3:37, 3:38, 3:39, 3:40. It was 4 phone calls right in a row.
This is why this is important, because while Heather was making those phone calls, video surveillance cameras along the route to Peachtree Landing also show a black pickup headed in the same direction.
Right there is the camera that caught what the FBI and the prosecutors say is that Ford F-150 going south towards Peachtree Landing.
At 3:41 a.m. is when Heather's cell phone goes dead.
There's nothing else at the end of that road but Peachtree Landing and Heather Elvis.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.